Majority of art students will never make it. Why? Because they spend years of practicing, grinding, and hoping for success. And they still fail because they make some deadly mistakes over and over again. Identify the problem. But before we start, I want you to grab a sheet of paper, sketchbook, and a pen. Let's identify the most common mistakes artists usually make. And I want you to answer some of those for yourself. So let's begin with the mistakes. Believe hard work alone will make you successful. What most artists think: if I just keep drawing every day, I'll eventually make it. You probably heard this before. Just work your ass off and give everything you have. But what if swimming in the ocean sometimes requires a change in direction? And what if more is not always better and effective? I done it myself. When I was 23, I tried to become a professional artist. I really wanted to work in the game industry. So I was just grinding and working and working and working. After 1 year, I realized I was moving forward. It wasn't specifically clear where I made progress in, and I couldn't really tell if I could check some of those boxes I set for myself. It actually took me almost 5 years to get my first professional job in movies, which led eventually into working into games. So why is blind practice wrong? The biggest thing is that blind practice has the potential to lead you somewhere and nowhere at the same time. And that's why it's so dangerous. Without any direction, you're just repeating the same mistakes. Or you don't even realize that you do them. You could even build habits that are really dangerous for your progress, such as not using references or not working enough on fundamentals like perspective. It's like going to the gym and lifting weights always in a wrong form. You might feel you make progress, but you just reinforcing bad habits. And at the end, you have giant arms and super tiny legs. And you look like Donkey Kong, just without the cool tie, of course. The lack of structure and strategy. Most art students lack a clear roadmap. They jump from one tutorial to another tutorial. They somehow try to improve everything at once. Don't get me wrong, I did this myself. I was buying Nomen DVDs. I binge watched every concept art video I could find because I believed more information would help me to get the edge on things. I was actually searching for the lost information. I would be the Indiana Jones of concept art. But I was wrong, because every time I watched another video, I just got the impression of getting better, but I actually did not. In fact, I don't even really know if I saved any information because I did not try to practically apply that information, because I just watched the next video because it was comfortable. Do you fall in that category? Write it down. Solution. Over the last 7 years, I've met and worked with many different types of artists. And each and one of them had a different pathway into the art industry. Actually, 50% of the professional artists I've met came from completely different fields, such as graphic design, classical art, comic book art, theme park art. And some of them, they don't even have any art education. I, for myself, studied industrial design, and I first worked in commercials. Then I worked on movies and eventually games. So let me frame it simple. In order to succeed, you need to focus on systematic skill development. So first you focus on hard skills and learning things such as form, anatomy, perspective, color design, all that. But also work on soft skills such as communication, networking, and business. These days I teach people in one-on-one sessions, helping them to build the right structure for their life circumstances. What always fascinates me that every person has different routes, different obstacles, and different ways through the art path. But with the right amount of planning and organization, you can achieve a lot. For example, Yannick, who has a full-time job and a family, and he joined my intensive program around 7 months ago. From the beginning, he only had 2 to 3 hours every evening to work on a stream. After only 7 months, he went from beginner to junior concept artist. Or Franciscus, who landed his first studio job after only 1 year of mentorship with me, relying on motivation instead of systems. Here are some questions that you can ask yourself right now. Do you just draw when you feel like it? How much time do you spend drawing? Do you only draw things that are comfortable for you? Do you feel you are progressing towards the goal you have set for yourself? Here's also one that sometimes hurt a bit. Do you think you're good enough to get paid for whatever you produce? So here comes the reality check. If you only draw when you feel like it, you will never improve consistently. In fact, you need to build a system that helps you to oversee your own progression, because you need to set up milestones in order to see how consistent you are. I taught more than over 100 people over the last years. And less than 50% who join the program have a art routine or a consistent art routine. And the majority of that is made out of I draw whenever I feel like it, or I just watch a tutorial and try whatever I just saw there. But this can't offer you any consistent progress. Don't get me wrong, this is better than nothing, but it won't bring you where you want to be, and especially not as fast as you want it. I went through all these up and downs, questioning myself, and I know we can all be a victim of self-doubt or lack of motivation, because motivation is worth nothing if it doesn't help you to get the work done, especially the right work. Another question, do you always draw the same topic or the same type of things, which maybe make you feel comfortable and relaxing? But deep down in you, you know you actually need more perspective or more design practice and more drawing and way less painting. I feel you, I know how that is. And to be honest, you can handle those things in two ways. So either way you say, well, maybe I don't want to be a concept artist because I don't really like designing and it's really hard for me. Or you realize that it's just really hard for you because everything new you learn is really hard in the beginning. And you start to be honest with yourself, realizing I haven't really tried it. I basically gave up right from the start because it's hard. Because things like design are very complex and they're really hard to tackle and they're really hard to manage. So wouldn't it be a shame if you do not push yourself enough? Next up, do you think you should get a job because you are technically good enough? Maybe you already spent 3 to 4 years grinding, working on your portfolio, building something up, crafting out that portfolio, sending applications over applications to those game companies, but you always get rejected. And I'm sorry to say that, but in most cases, this just means you are not there yet. Or maybe you are not as good as you maybe think. And maybe it's not even your fault. Maybe the people in your life just don't know better because they don't have the expertise on giving you a proper feedback on your work. Everything you produce looks amazing for them. So we can't blame them on not being able to judge effectively, because important is that your work is solving a problem and could be potentially served into the art entertainment field. I can also speak here from the other side, because I was also involved into the recruiting process when I was working in games. At the end, you need to ask yourself, would you hire an architect to build your house who've only built Lego houses before? I had situations in career talks where I had to give people the hard truth on telling them they're not there yet. And I'm always feel a little bit sorry for it, but they pay me to be honest with them. And in my opinion, this is way better because that helps them much more to get the job eventually. Because sugarcoating does really not help. Remember this, to become a professional artist, you need to start to behave like one. Build a habit that is concrete and set a schedule. Treat your time and progress like a professional. Even before if you feel like one, because this is how you get there. I have a random question for you. What's been your biggest struggle as an artist? I read every comment and I might make a video on it. Okay, let's switch perspectives. So we have the amateur mindset and we have the professional mindset. So let's talk about the do's and the don'ts. And let's start with the don'ts. And you maybe should write this down if you haven't yet. Do not practice without a clear goal. Whenever you choose to spend your time, make it count. Do not get stuck in endless tutorials or doom scrolling. And this is maybe counterproductive for my own YouTube channel, but watch less videos and do more work. Use videos only to find solutions for problems, okay? Do not seek quick validation on social media or any type of quick validation, because building a professional portfolio or professional body of work, if you want to be an illustrator or a comic book artist, whatever that is, it takes time. We're not shooting for quick results, but you can use socials for sharing your progress, building a little fan base of your own, showcasing your pathway, because this is much more interesting to watch from an outside perspective. Also, do not neglect to learn the business side of things of the art industry and art career, because it becomes more important in case you don't want to work for a company and you want to do classical paintings that you want to sell on the open market. Start to learn how to market yourself, how to make your own brand, how to get an online standing, because this becomes more and more important these days. Let's go over to the do. So what we want to do, first we want to build a structure and then we want to follow that structure. We want to focus on fundamentals first and style later. We want to build a body of work or a portfolio with a purpose, because we always follow supply and demand. And also we want to understand how the market works. Where can I enter? Where can I offer my service? What do I need to bring to the table if I want to work for XYZ company? You still got the piece of paper we talked about in the beginning? All right, here's a checklist for your paper. Step number 1, set a clear goal. Most artists don't really know where they want to go. Do you want to be a concept artist? You want to be an illustrator? Do you want to be a comic book artist? Be as specific as possible. If you can't be specific right now, it's okay. Just write down a direction. Research where you maybe could fit and what type of work you want to produce. And while you do that, check out the level you have to reach in order to work for that company. Try to pick one path. And follow that path for at least 6 to 12 months. Make sure to set up some checking phases for updates. So how your path is going currently and if the direction still is good. And as an action step, I want you to write down your art career goal today, now, on that piece of paper. And when you want to reach it, do it. Do it now. Step 2, follow a learning plan. Stop watching random YouTube videos and follow a structured curriculum. I mean, still watch my videos, but neglect all the rest. And if you feel like you still cannot build a proper structure for yourself, research on the web if you find any structures or maybe even one-on-one training. Focus on fundamentals first: perspective, design, light and color, painting, composition, storytelling, everything. And another action step for you today could be to write out a plan, starting with 1 hour a day. So create a weekly schedule where you spend 1 hour per day where you practice in all these things. So you can create a weekly training schedule for yourself today, right now, where you set 1 hour a day for one topic a day. So create a weekly structure covering all the art basics. So you at least can make sure that you work on all the basics every day. And if you have trouble with this, I also have example videos on my YouTube channel, which you can check out here. Step number 3, learn the business side of things. Not forgetting this, really important. Most artists only focus on skill. And don't get me wrong, skill is important. But you also need to be able to sell your work or sell yourself. Start to build an audience on social media. You don't need to show your face. You can just show your work and let your work speak for you. But create a habit. Build a portfolio that attracts possible recruiters, clients, studios, that solves a purpose. Character design, environment design, prop design, design for games, illustration for fantasy art, illustration for games, marketing art, splash art, comic book pages, interiors, covers. I can go on and on and on, but be specific. This will help you to target, okay? To have a target and go for that target. And also learn about pricing, commissions, and day rates. The action step here is to start researching or identifying where you can make money with your art. I, for example, started to make those really cool prints and I started to make my own hoodies. I started this not for the money's sake, but in order to have something I can give back to community, which we can raffle on the live streams. Or I can present my mentees who stay longer than 12 months with me and give it them as a goodie. And I know all this can be super overwhelming. So whenever you feel overwhelmed and you have the feeling you can't manage anything complex like this, I want to drop my most favorite quote of Mark Twain, who said, in order to manage complex tasks, you have to break them down into small tasks and start with the first one. And when I started with my art journey, I actually was writing this on a piece of paper and I just sticked it on my wall and put it there. And every day I was reading it. And that kind of just helped me to calm down, analyze, and break things into small fractions. I really did that. It's not a lie. I don't lie. And just in case you still feel overwhelmed and you need professional help and someone who can build you the structure and guides you through multiple months of learning and tracking your progress, giving you feedback over paintings, recording, brushes, everything you need in order to achieve that, that's exactly what my mentorship program is for. And I do offer multiple packages where you have 1 call a month for less money, but we also have the premium mentorship for people who want the full intensive ride of learning as fast as possible. We offer multiple packages with different amount of workload, and we even have a loyalty bonus system for long attendance. We also run a 10% discount code for new joiners. If you use code NEW10, you get 10% on your first month of mentorship. And if you're still not by it, just check out the results from our amazing student gallery. If you're interested in joining, click the link in the description. If you want to learn more about becoming a professional artist by yourself, click the video here. Subscribe, like, good luck.